when you go on vacation, the last thing you want to worry about is whether or not your hotel is safe. But just last week, the government issued a warning to look out for suspicious activity, especially at luxury hotels. Here with some advice, it's our travel editor, Peter Greenberg. Peter, good morning.
Good morning, Harry.
Before 9/11, after 9/11, there really is a dramatic difference in terms of how many attacks actually happened on hotels around the world.
The numbers really are different. Take a look at this. In the 8 years before 9/11, 30 major attacks against hotels, terrorist activity in 15 countries. Now, in the 8 years since 9/11, look at that number. 62 major attacks in 20 countries. And the most significant figure about that is the number of people injured has gone up 6 times.
Yeah, really. We especially think about India last year.
That's right.
So dramatic, so deadly. What do we need to be keeping in mind as we go out to travel, especially, it hasn't, thank God, happened in the United States, but as we travel around the world?
Well, let's talk about what the hotels are not doing. They don't really want to spend the money. It's really an issue of getting the owners of the hotels to invest in security. So there's one hotel chain right now that's actually in the process of building a blast-proof lobby, and as good as that sounds, they still have to convince the owners to actually spend the money to put it in.
Right, because there were some places, especially in Indonesia, there were walls built, there were provisions, but you can't do everything. You can't screen every single person, I don't think, to get in or out.
No, but there's a way to do visible security. Metal detectors in the lobby that don't have to be like the airport. They don't have to necessarily be visible.
Right.
What about unattended bags in the lobby? There's not a single bag that's searched, and I can go into any hotel. I'm not trying to give anybody the bad idea, but I can go to any hotel and tip a bellman $5 to watch my bag.
Right.
Well, I need to say more.
Wow, okay. There are some things, though, that are working to the customer's advantage, and that is so many of these hotels, for their own security, about their own employees, are pretty wired up.
That's right. The number of cameras in hotels has completely increased. For example, it used to be about loss prevention and property theft, and they used to have cameras only in the lobbies. Now they have cameras everywhere. And in fact, that's really helped in some cases, like the Craigslist murderer in Boston. They were able to identify him based on security footage from hotel cameras that would not have necessarily been in place 10 years ago.
Wow, that's important stuff. On the other hand, let's talk about the things we need to keep in mind. It doesn't matter where we are, in what hotel, in what country, even here in the United States, things that you think we ought to do, including keeping our eyes and ears open.
Very simple. If you see a car parked in front of a hotel right in front of the lobby, report it. It shouldn't be there. If you see unattended bags in the lobby, I just mentioned that, report that. You got to let people know this, that it's concerning you as a paying customer.
All right, so you're in a hotel, and say you're there for a couple of days, and you see a do not disturb little tag on the door, not just on night.
Well, you know what? We're not talking about honeymoon couples here. We're talking about being aware of something that's there for a long period of time. In the Jakarta case, the most recent example, the terrorists actually checked into the hotel and assembled their bombs in the rooms as guests with that do not disturb sign on the door. So you have nothing to lose by reporting that. Okay,
the other thing you say is when checking in, be mindful of the person who's checking in. What kind of antenna do I need to have up when I'm checking in?
Well, mindful of the person who's checking you in. If they announce your room number, don't take that room, because now everybody knows where you're staying. That's number one. Number two, especially for solo women travelers, you lose no points on your final score by asking somebody who's a uniformed staff member of the hotel to walk you to your room. Because the biggest problem in hotel crime right now is what we call push-in robberies, burglaries, rapes, and worse, where they will wait for you to get to your door, and of course you're fumbling around to put that card key in the door. The minute you do, they come right behind you, they push in behind you, and now you're in there in the room with them, and who are you going to call? Nobody.
That's really, really good advice. And to go along with that then, if you're in your room and there's a knock at the door, how should you respond to it?
First of all, look through the peephole, and if it's not a uniformed member of the hotel and you didn't call them, call down to the front desk and ask what it is. You lose nothing by asking that question.
There you go. As always, Peter, thank you so much. Good advice.
You got it.
For more tips on staying safe during your hotel visit, check our website at earlyshow.cbsnews.com.